On this episode of Gameball NFL Endzone, we're going to recap the happenings of Week 9 of the NFL season. And in our second segment, at the midway point of the season, which head coach should be on the hot seat? We'll talk about that. And of course, in the third segment, bring you our forecast heading into Week 10. This is Gameball NFL Endzone, and it begins now. What's happening, everyone? Welcome to Gameball NFL Endzone, where the football season never ends. I'm Marcus Young, Genius Jenkins.
It's your boy, Michael Riley.
And shout out to our brother, Luke Harden, who's a little under the weather, so of course we'll hold you down. As usual, that's what Team Fam does. We're going to start things off with the recap of Week 9 of the NFL season, starting with the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs with an impressive win at home against the Minnesota Vikings. We'll get into that momentarily. Going down the line, the Tennessee Titans, the Carolina Panthers. Christian McCaffrey is something serious, and there's a reason why when we had that topic as far as who are the regular season MVPs thus far, and his name was brought up in that conversation. He showed you why with 3 touchdowns, I believe.
Yeah.
In this season, impressive win over the Titans once again, 30-20. The Philadelphia Eagles, 22-14 over the Chicago Bears, and the New England Patriots suffering their first loss of the season at the hands of the Baltimore Ravens by a score of 37-20. We'll get into that as well here in just a second, but we're going to rewind and go back to Arrowhead Stadium with a big win by the Kansas City Chiefs. Matt Moore, his second week as a starter, 25 of 35. He did throw for a touchdown. No turnovers in this game. What impressed you or anything? How did the Kansas City Chiefs come out with this win over Minnesota?
Well, defensively, they play a little bit better, even though they still have their struggles. And the biggest thing, they got Chris Jones back healthy. That was their missing part. And I think Frank Clark came back in the game as well. I'm not for sure. But offensively, Matt Moore has done a good job for Patrick Mahomes. 0 turnovers in the last 2 games, except for Shady McCoy, who stupidly fumbled the ball against the Packers, which that sealed the deal. But this time, he held it.
Right.
He held it. He was in Andy Reid's doghouse. And good thing Andy Reid made that call for him to come out of retirement. And he's playing well under pressure. This is my opinion. I would not rush Patrick Mahomes to come back in because you need to let that kneecap heal. You don't want to. That is the most important player on the franchise and the NFL. But overall, at home in Arrowhead, it came down to the winning field goal. So the Chiefs was able to get a stop, a 3 and out, and was able to get their field goal range. The thing I questioned about the Minnesota Vikings when they had the ball, forced a 3 and out, why play conservative? And why did you not use the timeout to freeze the kicker? You have 1 timeout left. If he's going to make a second time, oh, well, at least you made the timeout. I would at least call the timeout. You're not going to, where's it going to go? It's not rollover minutes or something. So I'm just like, why you didn't use that timeout? So I kind of questioned that call. And plus being conservative by the offensive coordinator, you're in Arrowhead. Be aggressive. Go for the goal and strike it.
I agree with that. Matt Moore, I think you have to give credit to everyone from Matt Moore to the coaching staff to his teammates, because we knew Matt Moore doesn't need to be Patrick Mahomes. Be yourself. You have the personnel to get on the field and do your job. And the throws that he threw, the touchdown pass to Tyreek Hill was impressive. That was probably one of the best throws of the weekend. The one-hand grab by Sammy Watkins. Then, of course, a healthy Damian Williams now, that 91-yard touchdown. And the only person that could catch up with him was Tyreek Hill, which his speed still to this day is insane to me. But this is something they're 6-3 right now, so they're still in good shape. I strongly agree with you that give this time for Patrick Mahomes to heal because, like you said, a knee injury is serious, and if you don't give it the proper time to heal, it's one of those things where you will never come back the same. He could never be, agility, all those things come into the mix. But a big win for them. Another big test at the hands of the Tennessee Titans. We'll talk about that in the third segment. Moving on, the New England Patriots once again suffering the first loss of the season at the hands of the Baltimore Ravens. Mike, I got to ask you, how was Baltimore able to overpower New England?
Well, they was more physical. And they was able to punch the Patriots in the mouth, running the ball effectively, get some passing game going, do something that the Patriots defense has never seen them more. They was in the pistol formation, 3 tight end sets, motion and all that stuff. And the defense did a pretty good job. And that key moment which sealed the deal for Baltimore, broke the game wide open, is when Julian Edelman fumbled the ball because the Patriots was on a roll and threatened to take the lead. But that costly fumble for the Patriots was a nail in the coffin. So overall, it was a good performance by Baltimore to get it done offensively and defensively. The second quarter, that's when the Baltimore was not the Ravens because the Patriots was on the roll. Now for the New England Patriots, as a Patriots fan, I'm glad they lost. It's a reality check. It's only one loss. It's not in the world, of course, but you have people out there who overhype it. Yeah, so it is what it is. But I guarantee you one thing: it's gonna be hell week for the next 2 weeks. They're on a bye, and they get their players back healthy. They get the first round player who should be making his debut. They also get Isaiah Wynn, their left tackle, back because the offensive line for the Patriots has been a major issue this year, especially at the left tackle spot. And it has forced Tom Brady to be uncomfortable, but they're still 8-1, still the potential number one seed in the playoffs. So I have faith that they'll get rolling around because we're approaching the mid-November and December. That's when the Patriots at their best. So Belichick would get it corrected, and their defense didn't play gap assignment. So it was their true first test. And if the Patriots seed the Ravens again, I think they'll be more prepared for it because in the playoffs, you do not want to play the Patriots. And where they play the pissed off mode, and especially you in Belichick's doghouse, it's going to be ugly for the next 2 weeks.
I agree with a lot of things that you said. This loss was definitely a wake-up call for them. There was no question about it. Because like you said, especially, I actually give you props on that. That the fact that you, as a Patriots fan, admitted that this was their first test of the season. I mean, the teams that they beat ahead of that are not even in the same conversation as the New England Patriots and so forth. So, this was a wake-up call for them that teams like the Baltimore Ravens, for example, are coming after them. They're the defending Super Bowl champions, the defending AFC champions. So, yes, they're going to get everything from the top teams like this. So, just like you said, I was actually like, they needed this. This is something that now the season's going to begin for the New England Patriots. I agree with that as well. That's going to do it for this first segment. Coming up, we're going to talk about, with the midway point of the season underway, which head coach to be in the hot seat. We'll discuss that. Stick around. Gameball NFL Endzone begins momentarily. What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to Gameball NFL Endzone. Now, in this second segment, Mike, I gotta ask, in your opinion, which head coach at this point in the season should be on the hot seat?
Well, there's plenty of coaches should be on the hot seat. The Cincinnati Bengals head coach, since they're doing one and done season, firing out. I don't know what's going on this generation. You could say he's up there, but they're in a rebuilding year. You can also say Jason Garrett, the Dallas Cowboys, of course, but we all know Jerry Jones is not letting them go. You can also say another coach who's definitely on the hot seat. It slipped my mind. I forgot. I have to think about it. And the number one coach, in my opinion, who's definitely on the hot seat is Adam Gase for the New York Jets.
I agree with that.
How do you lose to an 0-8 in Dolphins? I mean, what's going on? Then you cause a big uproar when you try to trade your best defender, Jamal Adams, in the trade deadline. I think that's what caused the biggest friction of all. So, in my opinion, as Adam Gase should not have a Jets coaching job. He should be going after this season. Now, speaking of the second one, is Freddie Kitchens. He had no business being the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Let's just be clear. I mean, he's a deserving of coach, but as of right now, no. It should have been the Jets defensive coordinator. I forgot his name. It slipped my mind too. So it should have been him, who was a previously coach of the Cleveland Browns. So Freddie Kitchens is one, and Adam Gase is the biggest one that should not have a Jets head coaching job. You could also throw the Falcons coach in there as well, because he hasn't had. They're like 1-7 or 1-8, something like that. So you can also throw him under the fire. But I say the biggest coach that's on the hot seat is Adam Gase of the New York Jets.
I'm not going to add much to it. I agree with that 100%. That was my favorite because this Jets season has been painful to watch, especially with the expectations you get. Le'Veon Bell, a lot of excitement heading into the season, and it's been anything but that. And, of course, putting Le'Veon Bell on the trade block as well. We know the Steelers were trying to lobby to get him back. The Kansas City Chiefs were in the mix of that as well. The Titans were in the mix as well. So, I mean, yeah, things were not going to look any brighter for the Jets moving forward. And that's going to do it for our second segment. Coming up, we're going to bring you the forecast of Week 10 coming up. Stick around. You do not want to miss that. Gameball NFL Endzone is just getting started. What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to Gameball NFL Endzone. Now in this third segment, we're going to bring you the forecast of the top four matches to keep your eye out on in Week 10, starting with the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs, obviously off of a big win against the Minnesota Vikings in Arrowhead Stadium, taking on the Tennessee Titans. What do you like about this test for Kansas City?
Hold on. Before we go there, back to the last segment, it was Greg Williams, the Jets defensive coordinator, who was previously with the Browns, who had the Browns head coaching job over Freddie Kitchens. Let's make that credit. Greg Williams, I apologize about that. But going to the Chiefs, the Chiefs going to have a tough one on the road. Tennessee Titans come over a loss, and they gave a big running yards on defense against Christian McCaffrey. And for the Tennessee Titans to bounce back, they have to stop the run. It's plain and simple. Stop the run. Be physical on defense and force Matt Moore to make tough decisions, tough throws, and get turnovers. Win on third down. If you can win on third down, then you'll be able to get off the field, force some confusion, and come up with different blitzing schemes to get Matt Moore uncomfortable. Offensively, they switched over to the quarterback from Marcus Mariota to Ryan Tannehill. So far, they've been on the road. They're 2-1 with him. And so they've been playing good ball with him, except for the last game. But Tannehill seems like he's the guy going forward. So if they get consistency and the passing game to go along with that running game and the offensive line get efficient blocking, they can win at home for the Chiefs. Defensively, you're going to have to step up because Tennessee Titans is one of those teams that's looking to run the ball effectively, and they can with Henry in the backfield. And offense, you keep doing what you're doing and play turnover-free football.
All right, Kansas City Chiefs, another good test against the Tennessee Titans. We're going to move to the Carolina Panthers, who, speaking of the Tennessee Titans, they obviously beat them last weekend by a score of 30-20. Looking to take on Aaron Rodgers and company, the Green Bay Packers. Mike, what do you like about this matchup?
Well, the Green Bay Packers got a bad taste of their mouth from losing against the Chargers on Sunday, 26-11, I'm not mistaken. It was a bad loss that they can learn from, and their run defense was suspect because Melvin Gordon was running wild all over in the Packers defense, and that run defense has to step up. But they're playing at home, and it's going to be tough because Christian McCaffrey is balling right now.
Yes, he is.
So if you can stop him and force that young quarterback to beat you and get some turnovers off of him, then you did your job. And the offensive line did do a good job again for Aaron Rodgers in that passing protection at all, and didn't get no run blocking consistency. You have to be able to bounce back and go to the drawing boards and work on your fundamentals and make sure your quarterback's protected. Now for the Carolina Panthers, just keep doing what you're doing. Make it simple for Allen, the quarterback, and nothing too fancy, and let him loose a little bit, but give him some easy completions. And that running game, just feed it to Christian McCaffrey. I don't know what type of stuff that he's been on. Maybe he's eating his Wheaties or something. He's been rolling. So just feed Christian McCaffrey, and Carolina has a very good defense, and just cause the Green Bay Packers offense havoc, and just take film of what Los Angeles Chargers did to the Packers.
Agree with that one. All right, Green Bay looking to bounce back against the Carolina Panthers in Week 10, and that's going to take us to Mike's favorite team, and that is the Dallas Cowboys as they take on the Minnesota Vikings. Obviously, coming off a loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. Mike, tell us about this matchup.
Well, for the Vikings offensively, you got to be more aggressive. You can't be conservative, and you got to attack the Dallas Cowboys at a point of attack. Because if you don't, Dallas Cowboys has a good enough defense to make you pay. That offensive line going that front seven. And I don't know if Lee Vander Esch is going to come back in that defense for the Dallas Cowboys. But we'll find out and see. That'd be a huge plus for them. And defense got to do better. You got to win on third down. You got to force 3 and outs. And you got to stop the running attack of the Dallas Cowboys. If you can shut down Ezekiel Elliott and force Dak to beat you, there's a chance you can win this game. Now, for the Dallas Cowboys, you got to feed Zeke the running ball. You got to feed Zeke in the running game. Feed him, and set up the play-action pass. Get Amari Cooper going to pass the game. He's a very good receiver. And just be efficient offensively. Now, defense, shut down Dalvin Cook in the running game and force Kirk Cousins to beat you.
All right, not the Titans, but the Vikings and the Cowboys. Cowboys, is this the time of year where we start to see things kind of start going downhill, or what can they keep the ship going?
The Grinch is coming.
All right, we're going to find out. And that's going to take us to our last matchup, the undefeated San Francisco 49ers. Definitely one of their biggest tests yet, and that is against Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks. Mike, what do you like about this one?
Can this San Francisco 49ers defense stop the magic of Russell Wilson and Seattle Seahawks offense? Because we all know what they can do. Mm-hmm. They had a bad game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Of course, you're going to have one of those, but Russell Wilson was able to pull it off in overtime. So if you can play disciplined football defensively, force turnovers, and get the ball back to the offense, then you win your job on defense. Offense, keep it simple. Run the ball down Seahawks' throats. Be physical. Play smash mouth football. Be consistent in the passing game and get points off of that. And Seattle Seahawks defense has to step up. The 49ers has a very good running attack. So if the Seahawks can shut down the running attack, force Jimmy Garoppolo to throw some incomplete passes or make mistakes and get a turnover, you win that one.
All right, a great test for both of these teams. No question about that. That's going to take us to the predictions part of the episode, starting with the Chiefs and the Titans. Mike, who you got?
If this was in Arrowhead, I would lean the Chiefs, but I feel like Tennessee gets it done at home. It's just one of those that they got a sour taste of their mouth and they let Christian McCaffrey run all over him. I'm going to say a very close one. I'm going to say 24-20. Tennessee Titans get it done at home, and Luke picks the Chiefs to win on the road.
It's kind of tough, but the thing is, I'm just not sold on Tennessee consistently. At the beginning of the season, they showed a lot of promise. Their secondary was off the charts and potentially could have been the best secondary in the league for a split second. The thing is, this is a big test for Matt Moore on the road. Of course, his first two starts were in Arrowhead. I just like his poise, however. He showed a lot of grit in his duel against Aaron Rodgers. He played well against Minnesota. The thing for him is getting that run established. His teammates have confidence in his performance. He hasn't had turnovers in these other games. I want to say the Chiefs will find a way to pull this one out as well. I think it's going to be close. I just think that they'll find a way to get Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins involved. If they can find a way to get that offense going, starting with the running game, I think they'll be in good shape in the fourth quarter. I'm going to say 27-24. I like Kansas City on the road. The Panthers and the Packers, who do you have, Mike?
I got the Green Bay Packers bouncing back at home. They had an ugly loss, and they're going to learn from it, and they're at Lambeau Field where the crowd goes crazy. So I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be that bad man and do some Aaron Rodgers magic, and they'll bounce back and win. I'm going to say 31-20 Green Bay Packers gets it done at home. And Luke has picked the Carolina Panthers to win.
This is a big test for me for Aaron Rodgers because he played good against the Kansas City Chiefs, but he could have played better. And obviously, this tough loss setting past this weekend, I feel like he has something to prove, and he's at home. I think he will find a way to get it done. Christian McCaffrey, I don't think that defense is going to find an answer for you. The thing that concerns me about Green Bay's defense is you let Matt Moore dang near beat you. You about lost to a backward quarterback by the Kansas City Chiefs. So what do you think Patrick Mahomes would have did to you if you struggled against Matt Moore? That's my biggest concern for the Green Bay Packers, to be honest with you. And did they just shoot anything this past weekend as well? I'm just not sold on that defense showing up. I think Christian McCaffrey is going to have a sensational game. I think he's going to score 3 touchdowns again. However, I'm going to say Aaron Rodgers is going to find a way to get this one done at home. I'm going to say they will win 35-28. The Dallas Cowboys, who you know you got favored in this game. Minnesota Vikings, who you got?
I got the Vikings bouncing back winning. It's just that I don't trust the Dallas Cowboys in November and December. And we all know history repeats itself. Once they get something good going, and it's always going down. That's why I say they're a bad luck in their making. And that black cat and Mr. Grinch is going to come out and ruin it for them. Just wait. Just wait. It's not going to happen Thanksgiving. It's going to happen around Christmas season, and their playoff host is going to go down. So I'm going to say the Minnesota Vikings bounce back and gets it done on the road. And a close one, I'm going to say 27-20 Minnesota Vikings, and Luke has picked the Vikings to win.
This is where Ezekiel Elliott and the whole holdout and all this stuff, this is the time of year where it's time for him to show up, or, you know what I'm saying, show up and show out. This is that time where they need him the most. This is a good test. Honestly, I'm going to say the Cowboys in this one because, once again, you struggled against a backup quarterback. You struggled against a backup quarterback, man. Like, come on.
But it was an Arrowhead, though.
I would still say I think the Chiefs would have got it done in Minnesota, to be quite honest with you. I think they still would have got it done. But I'm going to say this is the last big win for the Cowboys before things start going downhill. I think this will be an impressive win. I think it's Ezekiel Elliott. I think it's going to be too much for them on the ground, which will open up that air game for Dak Prescott. I'm going to say 28 to 21. I think the Cowboys will squeak out in the fourth quarter. Final matchup, Mike. Do the 49ers remain undefeated?
I was fighting this one earlier today, so I'm going to give Luke's pick. Seattle Seahawks.
Ooh, okay.
He's picking on the 49ers.
All right.
That's Luke's pick. I'm going to go ahead and wait on you. I'm still fighting.
I'm going to say this is going to be fun because this is Richard Sherman going against his favorite quarterback. So now you're doing everything. He knows Russell Wilson. So that's the thing. That's what makes this matchup interesting. There's not going to be very many things that he hasn't seen. However, Russell Wilson, he's something else, I'm telling you. I'm going to say, my gut says the Seahawks. I'm going to say the Seahawks hand the 49ers their first loss of the season. I'm going to give them a score of 27 to 24. The Seahawks get it done.
Tough. Okay. I'm going to go with the 49ers.
Fair.
It wouldn't surprise me if the Seahawks win. It's just that defense. They're playing lights out. Yes, they play a little sloppy this second half against the Arizona Cardinals, but I think their defense makes one enough play to win that game. I'm going to say a dogfight. Close one. San Francisco squeaks one out 24-21.
I would say I wouldn't be surprised if that defense plays on another level just to kind of maybe get this done to stick it to his old team. Yeah. Just because I'm pretty sure there's going to be some emotion. And I believe that Richard Sherman is going to have this game. He's going to take this game a little bit more personal than the other games just because it's the Seahawks. It's going to be a great matchup nonetheless. That's going to do it for this episode of Gameball NFL Endzone social media. You can find me on Facebook, Marcus Jovel ENT Jenkins, Snapchat, Instagram, and Twitter at Jovel ENT.
You can also follow social media. That's everybody's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Gmail, YouTube, all on this side. Be my right, it'd be to your left. And thank you for following us on all social media platforms since day one. We wouldn't do this without your support. You can also get our gear on gameballshop.ecwit.com. That's gameballshop.ecwit.com. And you can't forget our other brother who's under the weather. He'll get well, heal up soon. Luke Hartnett, Facebook, Instagram as Luke Harnett, and on Twitter as Luke Harnett 2. I'm Michael Riley.
I'm Marcus Jenkins.
This is Gameball NFL Endzone. See you next time.